I'm Yoko.
And I'm Nox.
And this is
the RNS Podcast.
Dun dun.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Welcome back.
To the RNS Podcast.
Yes. We missed you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I was feeling like Mr. Anderson. We
Missed you.
Love Hugo.
So it's almost that time.
Almost. Not quite. It's the Christmas for adults.
I thought Christmas was the Christmas for adults, but
Christmas is the spending spree for adults for their children for now. Most
or on
part.
themselves, sure.
I mean, let's be honest. If we could really spend on ourselves any time in our adult lives when we're not backed down by bills.
Okay, you're right. So it's almost time for Halloween. So
Yay.
In the spirit of Halloween, yes, yay, because it's one of my favorite holidays. But in the spirit of Halloween, we decided to watch some Halloween horror, well, not in Halloween movies, but horror movies that are not necessarily
good. They're not necessarily good. No, we're not talking about like, oh my God, it's so scary. No, we're talking like, it's so bad, it's good.
It's so bad, it's good. That's kind of the title of today's episode. The kind of the best of the worst horror movies. Now, I honestly think mine was good, but bad good, but like good.
I know. I like mine.
I enjoyed watching mine.
I like mine too. Full disclosure, I've seen mine before, but I had to rewatch.
Oh, we should probably also explain that. Like, we both watched horror movies separately, and we wanted to essentially explain the horror movie to each other. So we kept the movies that we watched a secret until this point. So we're going to give you some details about the movie, some of our favorite moments, and kind of like a rating of if we think you should watch it or not. So, Yoko.
Yes.
How about you start?
I bowed. I don't know why I bowed. Like you guys can see me. Okay. Well, I watched. I guess I call it an oldie because I know it was a long time ago when this movie first came out. It's always a goodie. And this is going to be one of those cult classics. It's a movie called Grave Encounters.
Okay.
Now, you might think it might be like a zombie movie because it has the word grave in it. But no, it's actually like a haunted house, I guess.
I was thinking aliens, but okay.
No.
Like Close Encounters.
No. Grave Encounters. Okay, so that's the name of the show that these people are doing. They run this show that they go. The show is called Grave Encounters. And they go to, it's like taps, you know?
Oh, okay.
Like, you know how taps always...
It's like a ghost hunting show.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's a fake ghost hunting show called Grave Encounters. So they go to this hospital. It's a haunted hospital. And things just go so wrong. Or so right, I guess, depending on how you describe it, because the movie is actually really, really good. Has a sequel out. I've seen the sequel. It's also, I wouldn't say it's as good as the first one, but you know what is.
True. The originals are usually better than sequels. Usually.
Yeah, because the originals have more originality. Sequels have a lot to live up to at that point. But yeah, I say my favorite moment.
Wait. What's the plot? Like, I know you told me that it was ghost hunters going to hunt, but I don't know anything about the movie, so I've never seen it before.
Oh, well, it's ghost hunters hunting ghosts. And the tagline something like, "Oh, they wanted to find ghosts, well, they found what they were looking for," something like that.
Okay.
And it's just what it sounds like. These crazy mental patients in this hospital, the ghosts of them, pick them off one by one. But my favorite part has to be the tub scene.
Okay.
Um, there's one black guy in the whole group, I think, and his scene where he goes is he's the token. Of course, he's gonna go, but his scene is just, I'd say, the most anticlimactic but WTF moment for me.
Okay.
It's just like, wait, what just happened? Where'd he go? And I don't think we ever see him again after that.
Well, I need a little more setup here. Like, I'm not worrying about spoilers here. We're just talking
I'm worried about spoilers. You need to see this movie.
I'm gonna go full into spoiling a lot of parts of my movie because there's plenty of sequels to watch afterwards. But like, I can't. I want to know what's so great about this bathtub scene. You're giving me like not enough to give me tantalized.
Oh,
so like,
okay. Well, I was trying to avoid spoilers.
Don't avoid them. I want to know.
Okay. Well, if you are listening, she wants spoilers, so she gets spoilers.
So spoilers for Grave Encounters.
Yes. So they've all been split up at this point. Now, the prospect of this hospital is when it hits, I think, 12 o'clock, it goes into its own separate ghost dimension where you can't escape for anything. For anything. You try to go out the window, you can't do it. You try to exit the door will never open. It seems like the only way to get out is through this like magic portal or something at the very basement, at the very end of the hall, or something, or if it lets you go so you can lure more people in.
Oh.
So, while they're looking for everyone after they get split up, he goes into this room. There's a bathtub in the middle of the room. And, of course, I'm like, please don't go near that bathtub. Please don't go near that bathtub. Please don't go near. He goes right near the bathtub. And he looks in. Because what else are you going to do? It's a bathtub in the middle of the room. And this ghost girl jumps out of the bathtub, grabs him, drags him in, and the water goes still.
What a sucky way to die.
I'm just like...
First of all, though, I wouldn't go towards a bathtub randomly standing in the middle of the room. And it's a mental hospital. That's sus. Like, what? Okay, but go ahead.
I'm just like, why?
Yeah, why did you go to the tub? Did you need to take a bath? Like, what was the purpose? I'm confused.
It was the most WTF moment for me because it's just like, I just don't understand why they make the stupidest decisions that they do. And it's hilarious for me. It is.
Any other moments you really, really liked?
I have to think. That's the moment that stood out the most to me.
Okay.
And what was that? I think there was one moment where the guy tried to jump out the window, and the window closed. He ran right into the window.
Did he like bounce back, or did he break the glass?
He bounced back. It's mental ward. It's a mental ward, so of course not gonna have window.
I don't know that. I thought mental wards would have. I guess that makes sense.
So he bounces off the reinforced glass. I think they get it open. I think they might jimmy it open. Something happens. I forget. My memory's not the best. I forget. Something happens, but I also thought that was hilarious.
And he runs towards it and bounces back.
No. After that, then they jimmy it open, and I think they try to like go outside through the window. But they're on like the second or third or fourth floor.
So jumping would kill them or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So...
That was better than drowning in the bathtub.
If you even drowned. I don't know what happened. I think one of them got like a lobotomy at the end too.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like the mental patients like are all at the top. They're all at the top of this place. So you try to go down to the basement. And that's where all the sane doctors and nurses are, and the head doctor that made this place into a haunt in the first place do some sort of ritual.
Okay, so there's like a satanic ritual thing, and they're using the patients for it,
or something
like that.
Something like that, and the girl at the very end, the token girl, she gets taken or traded or whatever by the main guy, and the main guy is able to leave, but only so that he could spread the story and lure more people in.
But couldn't he just keep his mouth shut?
No, I think
if he doesn't spread it, he'll die.
Either haunt him or something. I don't know.
That's bullshit. If I got out, I'm out. You don't get to come and continue to haunt me.
Well, he got famous on the outside world.
Great. Got more people killed. Wonderful.
I mean, with more money.
Okay.
People have sold people up the river for less.
That's not a lie. All right, Yoko. If you were going to rate, now I have a rating system here that I kind of just threw together. As you know, I have my notes, my notes. If you were going to give this a rating out of 5, wait, I didn't read you what my scale stands for. So 1 means it's actually bad, like don't watch this movie. 2 is kind of sucks. 3 is meh. 4 is had its moments.
4.
Okay, and then 5 is so bad it's good.
4.
Okay, so 4.
I'd say this movie's gonna have a lot of cringe moments. Mm-hmm. But it's not a bad movie. It's not. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say. I don't think any movie besides really Joker at this point has made me feel weird. Kind of like cringy or anything.
Okay.
No,
uncomfortable.
All right, uncomfortable is the right word.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think any movie besides Joker recently has really done that for me. And Joker not because it's scary, because it was just messed. It was just messed.
Messed up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very excited to tell you about my movie that I watched. And I am going to go full spoilers. You still sound like you were dancing around, not actually wanting to spoil it for people so they would go watch it.
Yes.
I don't care. You can be spoiled for this movie that I'm about to talk about and then watch its sequels, which I haven't watched yet, but I'm probably going to end up watching. So the movie I watched is called The Ginger Dead Man. So not Gingerbread Man, The Ginger Dead Man. Okay. Highlights, it stars Gary Busey. So you already know that's going to be a trip.
Oh, Jesus.
I was so excited when I saw that.
It has Gary Busey. It's either going to be really bad.
Or
so bad it's good.
Excellent. So
Gary Busey is excellent, but
the tagline for this movie is "Evil never tasted so good." It's only about an hour long. Which I wasn't expecting for like an actual movie, but it's literally an hour. And Gary Busey plays a character, or the titular Ginger Dead Man, but also Millard Findlemeyer. Okay.
What kind of name?
I don't know. The thing about this movie, okay.
I guess does he run a mill?
No, he doesn't. But let me just talk about the opening, okay?
Findlemeyer.
So the movie opens with him. He's clearly like a robber, right? And he's
Findlemeyer.
Okay, focus.
I'm sorry. Let me just say that.
Findlemeyer. Okay. But it opens with him clearly robbing a diner and like just shooting people. But the problem with this is, obviously shooting people is wrong. But the problem I have with this is that
Findlemeyer.
Focus. When he opens the drawer where you're supposed to take money out of, it literally only sounds like there's quarters in there. Like there's no dollar bills that he steals.
What?
So he's literally just murdering people who just came in for a cup of coffee over laundry change. Like it literally sounds like quarters. I was like, okay. So what was the point of that?
Well, maybe those people just needed to get got.
No.
So they got.
No.
He just took the coins to do his laundry later because he got blood all over his clothes.
Oh my God, no. Okay.
Killers got to be financially secure,
Anyway, he shoots up a diner and he kills essentially this family that's out to eat, and including this father and this son. But the daughter's not killed. So
that's just sloppy.
It's actually very sloppy how it goes down, because he's like about to kill the girl. It looks like he shoots the girl. I don't know. They don't really explain it. Like, first of all, I couldn't even tell if the girl that he shot in the diner was the sister or not. I think she was, because of things that happened later. but it doesn't explain how she survived when the others didn't. Regardless, he hears the cops.
I mean, some people survive gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Yes.
Or unluckily.
He hears the cop and he's like, oh, and then like runs off and apparently gets caught. And he gets sent to the electric chair for his actions. But when the other weird thing about this movie is that it's like they try to give him a little bit of a character backstory. Like he can't kill the girl in the diner right away because he's like, well, I don't want to hurt you, but my mother always told me to finish what I started. And he's like thinking about his mother. He's like, damn you, mom. Like he's trying to give him like a weird mother serial killer backstory or something. I don't know. It was like for half a minute, so it didn't make sense.
You gotta love a serial killer with morals.
And it makes he shot everyone, so it didn't clearly.
I mean, obviously, he was wrestling with himself to shoot this girl,
but barely. The thing is that I'm saying it was like a drop of character development for half a second that never gets mentioned again.
I mean,
it made no sense.
Penny, in for a drawer full of quarters.
Okay. Anyway, so he gets sent to the electric chair and he fries or whatever. But then he said something like, I don't know, my mother will avenge me or something. I don't know, something weird.
Wait, what?
I don't know. He's got a weird relationship with his mom. That's what they're trying to set up. So the daughter and whose brother and father got murdered, his ashes get sent to her bakery that she and her mom run. So the way this happens is so weird. Okay, so she's thinking about her brother. And like reminiscing about him because it's supposed to be his birthday or whatever. And then she hears like a knock at the door. And so a mysterious box is dropped off by someone in a cloak who she never sees. But the box is labeled Mama's Gingerbread Spices. So even though she doesn't see who this person is, and even though a package of spices had been dropped off, clearly labeled, she decides, oh, these must also be the spices. Not suspicious of that at all whatsoever. And they make it.
This is just some random spices.
Exactly.
Let me just put them in my cookies.
Well, she thinks it's a great idea to mix in these spices, which they make it very obvious it's Millard's ashes. Very obvious that his mother somehow dropped off the box of his ashes and had it mixed in, And this girl decides, I'm just gonna throw these random spices into my gingerbread mixture. So she does, right? Okay.
Another question: why couldn't you just do this herself?
The mother?
Yeah.
She did. I think she dropped it off herself.
No. I mean, if all it takes,
brought him back to life?
If all it took to bring someone back to life was to make them into a cookie.
You're looking for way too much logic in this movie, okay?
It's like, okay, he's dead. Let me take these ashes to the nearest bakery.
No, she wants to take it to the bakery of the sister because that's what got her son killed. She's getting revenge. She wants it in her bakery specifically.
Of her sister, that's what got her son killed when he stopped in his murder spree to reminisce to himself about what his mom said to him.
Well, he
had her at gunpoint.
Yes, essentially. Okay, so yeah, I know, but it's really not that complicated. Honestly, if you watch the movie, it was way too obvious. That's what was going to happen. But anyway, so then this is what's really disgusting. Okay, I can understand if she would assume, oh, well, my son's ashes are going to get mixed into something. Sure. But apparently, the ritual also required blood, and I don't know how she assumed that was going to happen, but here's what happened. One of the employees who goes by the butcher baker, which I'll explain later, he accidentally cuts himself. And because this is a top-notch bakery, they think it's a great idea to move his bloody hand over the flour bin where these ashes are mixed in. And they let his blood drip in long enough that it should have been noticed. Like, it was a noticeable amount of blood that dripped into this tin, right? But for some reason, they don't notice it, or they do notice it and decide to work with the material anyway.
I'm rooting for the bad guy.
It's disgusting.
Because that's just unsanitary.
Well, you know what's? I should also mention that the secondary conflict of this film is that some big restaurant chain wants to buy out their little pie shop, and we're clearly supposed to be rooting for the underdog, right? But if your shop isn't sanitary enough to throw out a product that's been tainted with your employee's blood, then you know what? Maybe it's time for you to close up your shop. I'm just saying.
I think they deserve to die at this point. Like, what is this? It's just so unsanitary. What is this?
Anyway, so I was like, what? How?
Get him, gender dead man.
Whatever. But Brick, okay, so Brick is the butcher baker, but also the bleeding employee. So Brick he's really into wrestling. which I thought might appeal to you. He's really, really, really into wrestling. And he asked Sarah, who's the girl with the murdered father and brother, to essentially...
Sarah the Soul Survivor.
Yes, Sarah the Soul Survivor.
Triple S.
He asked Sarah to essentially forget about her murdered brother's birthday and to get back up off the mat, is what he said. He likes to use like wrestling puns. He says, get back up off the mat, Sarah, even though it's his birthday and it's like the 1 year anniversary or whatever, right? It hasn't been that long. But Sarah, unfortunately, can't get over it because her brother wanted to go to a titty bar on his 21st birthday, and she can't stop thinking about it. Like, literally, that's what she talks about.
The brother or the titty bar?
She talks both. I'm talking about, she's like, my brother really wanted to go to a titty bar today. And I was like, what? Why are you reflecting on that? Of all the memories, of all the things you could have talked about, she's like, I can't go with you because my brother would have wanted to go to a titty bar today.
My brother wanted to go to a strip club, and I just...
She calls it a titty bar. That's straight up, like, that's what she says. Not even strip club. I'm not saying that. That's her phrasing.
I can't even.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so speeding a little bit ahead, the girl takes this dough that's been mixed with blood and the ashes of a murdered criminal and rolls out a ton of dough, but she uses a giant-sized cookie cutter and only breaks one gingerbread man, which was weird anyway. Who just bakes one gingerbread man? Oh, I forgot to mention, and I wish I could show you.
Is the twist of this that she was in on this the whole time?
No.
Are you sure she wasn't in on this the whole time?
No.
It feels like she was in on this the whole time.
No, you know what? I actually think the actress in this movie is somewhat competent as an actress. She just got cast in this role. But no, she was not in it the entire time. No one else will see this, but I really want to. I'll show you it later. But when the dough is being mixed together, all the blood and the dough and the ashes, we see this ridiculous image of like this little fetus hand coming out of the dough. Like it's just reaching out, stretching out, and it had me rolling.
Okay, here's a question. Is someone there mixing the dough or is someone else automatic mixing?
There's an automatic mixer, but the baker guy came over to check it or whatever to add more stuff into it. And then when he walks away, we see this little fetus hand reaching out of it, and I was dying at that. I was like, oh my God.
Making babies. That's what we're doing here. We make babies at this bakery.
So she bakes it. She bakes it, and there's this, I don't know. I'm going to insert a picture of his face as he's being baked because it's literally the best thing I've ever seen. This horrifying image of Gary Busey blended with a gingerbread man that everyone in the world who, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to see. Okay, and then speeding ahead, I'm just going to go into kind of my top. That's like the general, basically the setup of the movie. Now the ginger dead man has come back to life. And is now going on a killing spree in the bakery to get revenge on everybody who...
Wouldn't all the blood make him like gooey?
He baked well. Oh, the thing, okay.
It's not like he was laminated.
You don't have to be laminated. What happened is that, okay, I wasn't going to go into this, but there's this blonde girl whose dad wants to buy out the bakery or whatever, right? And she's a beauty queen and all this other stuff, and she hates Sarah. She hates the soul survivor girl. And so she randomly goes into her bakery, puts a rat in it to try to get them shut down. But first of all, Sarah's mixing blood in with her product, so you don't really have to do all of that, Lorna, okay? Just saying. But then they get into a cat fight, and it's the weirdest cat fight. Like, she just starts throwing bakery products. I'm like, how are you going to break into someone else's shop and start throwing their own bakery products at them? But anyway, they get into a cat fight, and then
she broke in, and then she got caught. I think all that's out the window now.
They have a cat fight, and then I guess Sarah pushes Lorna into the like electric box where all the electrical circuits is, and then somehow that creates some weird electricity thing that kind of blows up the oven a bit, and he gets extra baked or something. I don't know. It was weird, but just get past that part. Ginger dead man's alive, okay? Some things I really enjoy. These aren't even like my top moments, but now he's going on a killing spree around the store or whatever, right? I think the first person to see him is the mother, and Sarah's mom wasn't at the restaurant, so she survived, but she's like an alcoholic now or something, because she's drinking all the time. But
who's the better mother, the ginger dead man's mother or Sarah's?
Oh, we never meet the ginger dead. I don't know. She brought her son back to life, so I guess I'm gonna go with the witch with powers. Anyway, so when the ginger dead man's alive, he has like a knife in his hand. And with the knife, he starts kind of like just waving it at the. Oh wait, that's not the first person that runs into him. Actually, it's the
34th.
No, it's the 3 characters. Sarah, Lorna is the blonde chick, and then her boyfriend Amos, who's not Amos, like famous Amos cookies.
Famous anus cookies.
Okay. Anyway, so.
Should be a porn star.
When he first comes back to life, they're like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And he's like, "Well, it sure ain't the Pillsbury fucking Doughboy." So you can look forward to lines like that, like cookie puns and cake puns and bakery puns, essentially, as throughout this movie.
I like how he has full awareness of what he is already.
Yep.
It's just like
he's not even freaked out by the fact that he's a ginger dead man. He's just rolling with it, as if he knew
rolling with the dough.
Oh my god, I wasn't even trying. Anyway, but so I remember the main characters, they run away, but then Sarah's drunk mom eventually stumbles onto the ginger dead man.
When you say stumbles on, do you think he like stumbles on, or
well, she walks out of the room and goes,
trips over the ginger dead man?
No, she just walks out of the room and she's like, "Sarah, where are you?" And then the guy's just standing, or the little ginger dead man is just standing there with a knife, smiling at her, and this weird smile. I definitely am going to insert pictures if you're watching us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. It goes out later than our audio podcast. Audio podcast, on other platforms. But I will definitely insert clips into a YouTube video, or at least the picture, because it's too funny. Anyway, so she's just staring at him, and she wanders closer, and she essentially plays peekaboo with him. Like he's just smiling at her, and she just covers her eyes and goes like, "Oh," and then keeps doing it. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I know you're drunk-ish, but you're not that drunk. Like that she would start going, "Peekaboo, the gingerbread man." Like, it was weird. He's waving a knife. And then she gets close to him and she like puts her finger in his face, and he's like, "Have you ever tried a lady finger?" And then chops off her finger. And then she starts screaming and like tumbles back into a bin or something. He doesn't kill her though, because an employee comes running out named Julie, I think. And Julie is like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to you? Sarah's going to kill me for letting you get out, blah, blah, blah." And he somehow with his gingerbread arms is able to knock her out with a frying pan. No real explanation of how he's able to physically lift it. He's magic. Just able to. It makes no sense.
Chucky is able to keep all of his human strength via his ritual, even though he's a doll.
Fair enough.
I'm assuming it's the same thing, but with gingerbread. I mean, when in one of our D&D sessions, one of our players got turned into a gingerbread cookie, and it was hilarious because the enemy dove into a lake, and all of us were like, "They're not coming back out. I'm not going in that lake." He was just like, "Screw it, I'll go." Jumps in. He's in an oven. Apparently the lake was a portal to an oven. And that's what they used to get away. But when he went through the portal, he came out as Gingerbread Man. So he never turned back, by the way. He's
just gingerbread man for the rest of the campaign.
The whole campaign, just Gingerbread Man. And we got him laminated, which is what the laminate kind. We got him laminated so that water wouldn't affect him because he was a cookie. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want him to crumble away.
Gotcha. That was thoughtful of you guys.
But he kept all his strength, but now it was in like a little pint-sized size. So he was literally pound for pound the strongest thing probably in the world.
Okay, well, maybe it's the same thing with this weird ritual. I don't know. What I do know is that after he knocks out the employee with the frying pan, he then decides to cover her in, I guess, frosting.
I knew it was going to be either frosting or icing.
And strategically places gumdrops on her breasts. Then he puts her in a freezer. Anyway, so now we don't see him do this. We see when the employees find her later in the freezer and just drag her out, and she just happens to be covered in frosting and strategically place gumdrops. Don't know why.
Is she still alive?
Yep. But according to this is one of my favorite parts.
Does the ginger dead man actually kill anybody?
Yes, I'll get to that. But hold on. One of my favorite things is that Sarah. She took like one community college class on nursing or something, and now she's like thinks she's qualified enough to be like, "Oh yeah, Julie's fine. I don't think she has a concussion. I think she's just in shock. I'm like, she was in a freezer for how many hours before you found her? She got knocked in the head with a frying pan without touching her. You look at her and say, I think she's fine. She's twitching on the ground as she says this.
I'm fairly certain she has a concussion. I'm fairly certain anyone who's hit in the head and then doesn't wake up while they're stuffed in a freezer for hours.
She was literally twitching on the ground, and as she says, and can I tell you, I'm sorry, she says this, and then she starts making out with Amos, who's still dating Lorna, by the way, making out next to her frozen body. So, while the girl's just twitching on the floor unconscious. Brilliant.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities. Now, Nox, I don't know much about, human ethics and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But in the bear world, we just take what we can get.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes,
That's not what the movie Brother Bear taught me.
Brother Bear. That was a total miscast.
Yeah, okay.
I should have been the brotherest of bears.
Anyway, let me get to the end. We're almost there. Because I'm just going to kind of bounce around. Never mind.
But no, the only other instance that I know of someone being stuffed into a fridge was...
That's not where I thought this was going. Okay.
Because I wanted to comment on that. Mm-hmm. Was in the Green Lanterns, Kyle Rayner, his girlfriend, was stuffed into a refrigerator by one of his enemies. And it was a message. Basically, they stuffed her in the fridge with a message to him. And I was just like, if anyone gets stuffed in a fridge and they don't get out by themselves, because it's a freaking fridge, mm-hmm. You just push lightly and the door opens, then they're either dead or in a bad way.
Well, it was the fact that they just made out next to her twitching body. I was just like, okay.
I mean...
Didn't even bother to get the frosting off her either. Just left her there with the strategically placed gumdrops.
Maybe the piece of art just turned Sarah on.
Okay, anyway.
I mean, it sounds like...
No, it was what turned her on was Amos was like, oh, you're smart and pretty, after she made her community college... I'm not dragging community college, by the way. Obviously, it's an excellent option to, go get an education. I'm dragging the fact that she thinks she's qualified to determine whether or not this girl was, healthy by just glancing at her, didn't check a pulse, didn't do anything. Just, I've been taking classes at community college, and I think, based on that, I think she's fine. That was what I was just like, what?
She's trying to say is she's not going on people in community college.
No,
the movie is going on people in community college.
No, I just think it was a dumb thing. I wouldn't assume after taking one class in college that I'm qualified to be a nurse. What?
I know. Now that I've discovered the internet, I know that I can just go on WebMD and I'm a certified doctor.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Dr. Yoko, MD. Tell me your symptoms, and the comments are on Twitter.
Don't tell him your symptoms, please.
And I will tell you accurately what you got.
He will not tell you accurately what you have. The answer will just be cancer.
The answer is always cancer.
On WebMD. Anyway.
Cancer or
you
death.
could have the flu or cancer. That's WebMD. That's the only option.
You could have a sprained ankle or cancer.
It could be bone cancer. Okay. Anyway,
you're going to die.
So Amos and Sarah make out next to the twitching body. And then while they're doing that, Lorna had called her dad to come help them or something. By the way, it didn't make sense why they haven't left. They could have just left the bakery.
I would
up until this point.
I would have. I mean, as soon as I saw a body, I would have been out the bakery.
Well, now their excuse is, we can't leave Julie, but whatever. You clearly don't care about Julie. But that's the girl who's unconscious. The other thing is, later on, the ginger dead man does booby trap the exits, allegedly. But before that, they literally could have left. Literally did leave, decide to go back because Amos decides, I want to shoot this thing. That was the only reason they went back. He's like, no, I want to shoot him.
Does he?
No.
Of course not. Because there are sequels.
Well, no, that's not what happens. I'm getting to that. Okay, I don't want to I'm drawing on about it. I want to get to these major moments so I can get to my top moments. So while they're making out or next to the body or whatever, everyone's kind of distracted in the store for whatever reason.
And Gary Busey does Gary Busey things.
Well, the ginger dead man has apparently snuck out of the store.
Oh, okay. So he's actually going
because
out.
Lorna's dad drives up to the store. That's the guy who wants to buy their restaurant or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he's in his car. He's like, Lorna, what are you doing with that Amos kid? Blah 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 blah. And Sarah drags her earlier. She's like, why did you call your dad, not the police? Because her phone conveniently dies right after she makes the one call. Of course. She's like, why didn't you call the police? And she's like, shut up, Sarah. Anyway, so Lorna's dad shows up.
Shut up, Sarah. Daddy will help us out of this.
Basically, Lorna's dad shows up and gets out of the car and's like, where's Lorna? Even though he doesn't go in the store, he just gets out of the car or whatever. Next thing you know, you see the car lights turn on and the car end just starts revving. And then he turns around and he's like, no. I died laughing at this part because you see a little tiny gingerbread foot on top of a little baking rolling pin thing being used to push the gas pedal because his legs can't reach the pedal, but he's using a rolling pin and his little gingerbread feet.
That was my next question.
to drive his car.
I was asking, how does he even?
It didn't even make sense when I saw it, but the creativity alone, that was brilliant. I was dying. I was like, oh my God. So he's driving in this car into the man, pins him against the wall. But the way it happens, it doesn't even look like he actually got pinned. It's just like he just froze like for the scene. It's like, no, and then gets pinned and he dies. And then of course, Lorna finds him later, finds her dad. She got out of the store. Mind you, because there was no booby traps at that time. She got out of the store, goes and sees her dad, runs over to him, mourns for 30 seconds with no tears, and just and then it's like, oh no, daddy, and then sees his ring on his finger, takes his ring off, and is like, I'll miss you, daddy, takes his jewelry and goes back into the store.
Well, obviously, daddy was not safe outside the store.
It doesn't make any sense.
I was in the store and I'm still alive, so obviously the store is the safest place.
So she goes back into the store, and then when they're in the store this time, apparently he booby traps the place because then next thing we see is Lorna's like, I'm escaping. You were already out the building, ho, but you went back in. And then she's like, I'm escaping. I'm not staying here anymore. And then she tries to leave and a knife goes through her skull because the gingerbread man apparently, set a booby trap.
You know why? Because he was sick of people leaving the store.
So right now the body count's only 2, and it's just
the one family.
Yeah, literally the one family, and
it's just because of her stupidity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh no! I could just move to the side.
So how this all kind of wraps up? Well, there was a moment where Gary Busey tries to fight the rat that Lorna brought in earlier, and he's like, "Come at me!" Just like it's so stupid. It made no sense, and there was no point of putting it in the movie except for making me laugh. He tries to fight a rat.
Okay, Rick.
So then,
Pickle Rick.
Then the gingerbread man tries to bake Sarah's mom, puts her in the oven. And then Sarah literally puts her in the oven, tries to bake her. Sarah rescues her and gets her out. And then she gets pushed in the oven. And the gingerbread man tries to bake her. It was a whole thing.
Because Amos saved her.
Amos gets knocked out by a frying pan by guess who? Again, with a frying pan bitch. Okay. Then he conveniently wakes up for 0.5 seconds and manages to grab his gun, shoots the handle off the oven door, which allows Sarah to get back out, then passes out unconscious. Really? Really? Okay.
The plot is strong.
Oh Amos. My God. I was done with that point. I was like, okay, you guys are crazy. It kind of ends with the butcher baker dude. That's the guy who was bleeding into the tin of flour in the first place. He went to go watch a wrestling event, like he's into wrestling. He claims he saw them through the window, and so he knows what's going on. Just like that. He hops in, he sees the gingerbread man, and he's like, nobody takes on the butcher baker. Because he's like, all into wrestling or whatever. That's his name, wrestling name. I don't know. It was cringy, but it was also funny. And so he pins the gingerbread man, because the gingerbread man has stolen a gun at this point and was like, I'm going to shoot you. Ha ha. And so instead, the butcher baker manages to dodge a bullet and then pins this gingerbread man to the ground. And it's so funny because he's like trying to chokehold him. I'm like, he's a larger than average gingerbread man, but he's a tiny gingerbread man. And he's like holding his throat and he's like, and then he's like, I'm gonna get you. And then he pins him to the ground and begins to eat him. bites into his head, like rips him apart and starts chewing him down. And he finishes with his mouth covered in, I'm going to say jam, but it's blood, and says, "Got milk?" And then Busey, now that his head's gone, still manages to say, "I'll be back." He whispers it. "I'll be back." So that's essentially how it kind of ends, except for the fact that once the guy swallows the ginger dead man, he gets possessed by him. And they have to throw the wrestling dude into the oven to finish him off officially. So this guy, who's an employee there, comes back, rescues him, eats the ginger dead man, becomes possessed by him, and they burn him alive. And they're like, "Sarah, you had to." And that's how it ends. And so on a happy note, no one talks about him again. Everyone's at a bake sale, having a grand old time, selling gingerbread cookies. I cannot. I'm
sorry.
I can't. Yes, that's how it ends. Forget him. Forget his sacrifice. We burned a man alive in the oven. Let's continue using this oven to bake goods for children.
And this is why they're going out of business.
Right as well, except their one competitor is now conveniently dead. No questions about that. The police. Apparently there was no investigation whatsoever.
There are 3 bodies in this movie.
Yep.
And they killed one of them.
Yep. They burned him alive in an oven. And I'm just like, okay, I want to watch the sequels, because that was crazy. It was crazy, but it was like hilarious. Now, my main problem with this movie is that it has a surprisingly low body count. I wanted more absurd murders by this gingerbread man, and it needs more ginger dead man. There was more of the actors in the actual ginger dead man, and I'm going to assume it's because of the budget, and they couldn't afford to show him CGI gingerbread man the entire time, or whatever it is they used to do it.
Gingerbread man.
Yeah, so I figured that's probably the reason why, but it definitely needed more.
You really said when you said you were going to go into detail. You really went into detail.
Yeah, because I wanted to go over the entire plot, and there's a bunch of sequels. So one, you should still watch it for yourself, even though I told the events. It's different seeing them in person. And 2, there's a gazillion sequels which I haven't read, all with equally punny names that I definitely want to watch. That I definitely want to go into. Actually,
right now there's only 1 sequel to Grave Encounters, so. I hear there's a 3. I think there might be a 3 coming. Or if it hasn't already came out, I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Ginger Dead Man 2, The Passion of the Crust. Look at that. The Passion of the Crust? Really? Like the Passion of the Christ?
I got it.
And then we had Ginger Dead Man 3, Roller Boogeyman, Ginger Dead Man. Oh, how is there another Ginger Dead Man 2? Bakery of Blood. I don't know how there's 2. Saturday Night Cleaver.
Another 3 too.
And here's Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't understand that at all.
Is there an Evil Bong series that we missed out on?
I don't know, but I need to watch this.
Look it up now.
An Evil Bong series?
Yes. You guys know of an Evil Bong series?
No, I don't know what they're parodying. Apparently there is an Evil Bong movie.
Oh my god, there is an Evil Bong movie.
Well, color me corrected. Wow, there's an evil... And so they paired it up. Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. Okay, so 2 terrible, movies combined together to make one awesome, terrible movie. Honestly, if you go into this movie not expecting it to actually be, think this is quality or something, you will be entertained. I went into it knowing that this had to be a bad movie, but not bad, but so bad it's good, which is what we're talking about today.
Jesus.
So I'm down for watching these sequels. I mean, I don't know.
We got stuff to do before Halloween, that's for sure.
That's true. So yeah, my top moments were the drunk mom playing peekaboo, and then him cutting off her hand saying, "Got a ladyfinger?" Like a ladyfinger sandwich, like a cookie. That's what that pun was. I got it. I got it when he said it. I don't know if it was apparent to anyone else, but anyway. And then when he manages to drive the car.
I wonder if Ladyfinger got paid for that line. Wasn't it advertisement?
Well, I don't know. It's just a type of cookie. I don't know if you can it's not like if I say chocolate chip cookie, someone can sue me over it. It's just a type of cookie.
It's not like
a brand.
Yeah, like Chips Ahoy is chocolate chip cookies. So
no, I mean
if you're a killer sailor and you kill someone with some sort of bag of wood chips, I don't know. You say Chips Ahoy.
That would actually be really good. That's actually good. So yeah, That's the gingerbread man, and it's I don't know.
How would you rate it?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the last thing I have to do, right? Because I talked about the entire movie basically, almost. I didn't even spoil everything. There's still moments in there that are absolutely ridiculous that I didn't talk about, and I talked about a lot.
She talked about a lot. I talked about a little. She talked about a lot. But you know what? See both these movies. See Grave Encounters first. It's the more serious of the two, obviously.
Oh yeah, mine's just ridiculous. I wanted to watch something ridiculous. That was the point for me. So if I'm gonna rate this, I'm gonna rate it a 4. It is so bad that it's good, but it needed, like I said, it needed more gingerbread man. I was disappointed with if you're gonna have Gary Busey in your film playing a gingerbread man who came back from the dead, I need to see him
all the time.
Almost all the time. I need to see a higher body count. I need more ridiculous puns.
You know what we need?
What?
Gingerbread Man versus Chucky. I want to see Brad Dourif and Gary Busey go at it.
That would actually be really good.
You know what? They don't even have to kill no one. I want to see the quips, the puns. I want to see the banter.
That's essentially what I wanted, though. I wanted more puns, more cookie puns. As lame as it is, that's what I wanted. So I'm giving it a 4 because it lacked that, but I still think it was worth
when the hell we
watching.
Chucky versus Leprechaun, by the way?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That's an idea.
Chucky versus Leprechaun, that's what I want. I'm going to give you Jason versus Michael Myers. I mean, Jason's going to win, obviously.
I liked Freddy versus Jason.
I don't know, but, you know, he got Michael got his head cut off and he came back, but Jason got blown to pieces and he came back. So
it's a never-ending story. Anyway, speaking of
never-ending story.
No, speaking of movies, because you brought up now another movie idea, I wanted to wrap up today's session by kind of discussing.
Alien vs. Predator was a disappointment.
Not discussing that. Discussing the films we actually watched, like horror films we watched this year. And kind of like ranking like what your favorites were so far.
Did I see any horror movies?
We did. I'm gonna list them to you. I'm gonna list what we went to go watch together, and then you kind of tell me like what's your favorite, least favorite.
You know me, I don't remember anything.
So we went to see Ma. We went to see
Ma. I enjoyed Ma.
We went to see Pet Sematary, which is a remake. We went to see Us.
Us was amazing.
We went to see Midsommar.
That was all right.
It Too.
It Too what?
It Too. It.
Oh
my God.
Oh yeah.
It the sequel. Wow, forgotten so fast. Well, I know where you're ranking that one. We went to see Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
it was funny with how boring.
I'm including Brightburn because people are listing it as a horror movie. I didn't consider it that.
I thought it was a thriller.
Me too. So maybe I'll take it off the list.
I liked it. Or a character piece.
Yeah, I liked it, but I wouldn't rate it a horror movie. But so let's try that again. So let's say Midsommar, It Too, Annabelle Comes Home, Ma, Pet Sematary, and Us. That's what I remember us seeing. I'm sure we even saw more. I don't know if they were horror movies, all of them.
We saw a lot.
We saw a lot.
Since back in the day, we saw a lot.
Yeah. So what would you rank from the ones we've seen these are 2019 movies only. So this is all we've seen in 2019. What would you rank as kind of like maybe your favorite horror movie of 2019 so far?
Us.
Why?
Because Us was amazing.
No explanation needed.
I mean, no, there is no explanation needed. Like, the ballerina.
Oh, really?
Scene.
Because all I remember you doing is explaining to me why it was so awesome when we saw it.
But the ballerina scene was really good.
I loved the ballerina scene in Us.
That was so good.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil these ones.
Yeah, I'm not. If you haven't seen Us, what the hell is wrong with you?
Gingerbread Man came out in 2005, so I don't feel bad about it at all. But
if you haven't seen Us, what the hell is wrong with you? See it. See it. Not it. Well, see the first It.
Not the second It.
you can skip out on chapter 2. Matter of fact, you see It 1 and then watch the Stephen Curry version of It chapter 2, part 2. No, the made-for-TV movie with that. You have Prince Albert in account. You do. You better go let him out.
You meant Tim Curry. That's what I thought. You said Stephen Curry. I was
sorry.
Tim Curry, no.
A lot of guys at work, nothing but sports.
It's okay. No, I got you.
Nothing but sports. It's infectious in a bad way because now, me, I can only hold so much information at once.
It's okay. I got it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Curry.
So you're ranking Us as your number one.
Yes. Us
What
is
about,
definitely
okay,
number
so
one.
you got Ma, Pet Sematary, Midsommar, It Too, Annabelle Comes Home. What would you rank? Maybe your number two?
I mean, us and there's the rest, really. I'd say Ma.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed Ma.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know what that actress's name is, but I'm starting to see her in more and more things.
Oh, why can't I remember her name right now? That's embarrassing. I know her. Like,
I'm starting to see her in more and more things, and I really am actually enjoying it. Like, I'm enjoying her as an actress in these things. She does suspense really well.
That's true.
Like I do. I think she if she keeps going like this, she's definitely gonna have like an Oscar worthy.
Octavia Spencer. I don't know if I can remember her name.
Miss Spencer. Kudos to you, Miss Spencer. After that, the rest.
Okay.
Really, like.
Fair enough.
I mean, Pet Sematary was. I like the ending
because it was different.
Because Cemetery wins.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's be honest, the whole world is doomed.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I like that ending.
Well, spoilers, but it's okay. I would rank. I'm gonna agree with you. Well, no, I'm gonna rank Midsommar.
You really did like Midsommar.
I really did.
Midsommar was, for me, it was just interesting to watch, but there was no real emotion in it.
I guess for me, because I connected to the main character's like anxiety levels, that it felt emotional to me.
To me, it just felt like they were on an acid trip the entire time.
I mean, they kind of were, but
like, the entire time. Like I like where it started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would have more of an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the one scene in the flower shed, and after that, really nothing else.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying.
Like, after that, it was just forgotten.
I think it's, well, I didn't think she forgot, but I get it as a criticism. I get that you think it should have been like
it was this big thing in the beginning,
like using that imagery more.
Yeah, it was this big thing in the beginning, and
I think it.
Then we have pubes.
I think it was reused, but in a way that maybe I saw it, but you didn't see it.
Probably not.
I would think it was used thematically, not necessarily like reference with imagery.
No, I get it was used thematically, but I wanted to see it come up in imagery.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but I was okay with it being used thematically. I was okay with that. But Midsommar would be my number one. Us would definitely be my number two. And while I enjoyed Ma, like
it wasn't horror for me, like.
Well, no. She did some creepy stuff. It wasn't scary. These are just listed as horror movies, not saying that they horrified me. That's not what I'm rating it by. I'm just rating it by pure enjoyment. So Midsommar was for me.
Same here.
Us. Ma was enjoyable, but then it got weird to the end. Not even weird as in like the movie was creepy. It just I don't know. It didn't end well.
You mean Luke Evans' penis?
No, that's not what I meant, but thank you for telling that to our audience.
Hey, if you ever want to see Luke Evans' penis, Ma.
Watch Ma. Okay. And that's it. And then the rest I would qualify as Yeah, I didn't really enjoy the Pet Sematary remake. Annabelle Comes Home was just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, I thought that would be more. It
too was whatever. And Brightburn I enjoyed, but I don't really see it as a horror movie, so.
Yeah, like I put Brightburn 3.
If it was an actual horror movie.
Because that's exactly what I would expect out of a evil Superman movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Brightburn, but since I don't consider it a horror movie, I'm coming it out. Like you said,
Superman though. It's Brandon Briers.
Yes. We know it's not really Superman, but okay. You okay?
You okay?
So, all right. Oh, I wanted to also. We talked about the ones that we kind of have seen this year. So, what is one movie you're looking forward to seeing that's also a horror movie of 2019? So I'm going to read you some. We talked about some briefly.
Dr. Sleep.
Okay, never mind. I was going to read you the
Dr.
list.
Sleep.
Okay.
Dr. Sleep.
Okay. Dr. Sleep is up there for me as well because I love Stephen King. So I'm excited about that. But I also know you mentioned Countdown and Black Christmas.
Oh, yeah, those are definitely.
So we're probably going to go see those as well.
Matter of fact, one of those movies is coming out on the 25th. So
we're probably going to go.
Yeah.
So what we want to ask you guys is what movies are you interested in us reviewing? So if there's anything you want us to see, let us know on Twitter at Yoko and Nox. or on Facebook at facebook.com/RNS Yoko Nox. So let us know, and we'll probably go out and review it and do another movie review like we did with Joker.
Yeah. That actually sounds pretty cool.
Okay, so let us know if there's, like I said, any movies that you're interested in us reviewing. Also, next week's podcast, just giving a little spoiler for it. So if you guys have any urban legends or short horror stories, or just any events that's happened to you personally, like hauntings or paranormal stuff or anything like that, we'd love to hear from you guys so that we could possibly include that story in our next podcast episode for our special, like right before Halloween podcast episode. So you can send us messages on anchor.fm.
It says voice messages, feedback. Tell us what you want us to do or hear or talk about, things of that nature.
So it's anchor.fm/Yoko-Nox if you wanted to send a voice memo in. But you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook and send your stories or suggestions in that way. So I think that wraps up this podcast.
Yes.
That was fun. I'm going to definitely check out your movie.
Oh, we're gonna watch the crap out of these gingerbread movies.
Oh, most definitely.
I can tell. Oh, yes.
So thank you for joining us.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Play us out. Before you go, please give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to continue talking with us about nerdy stuff, follow us on Twitter at Yoko Nox, or on Facebook, facebook.com/RNS Yoko Nox. We upload every Tuesday on anchor.fm/Yoko Nox, and also places like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and many others. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you there.